Okay, so good morning all. Today we are back with another topic, that is conduction system of the heart. So conduction system of the heart is very important with respect to the physiology of the heart. If you are very much aware with the circulatory system of the heart, so before that we need to understanding conduction system of the heart. Okay, so I will share the next video on the circulatory system of the heart, but still, firstly, we are going to deal with the conduction system. And if you want a video on the anatomy and physiology of the heart, you can ask in the comment section. I will make a video of that also. Okay, so today we are going to see the conduction system of the heart. So the heart is an vital organ. As you know, heart is an vital organ. So it is a second most vital organ, we can say, and it is necessary to carry out the n number of the physiological processes of the body. So heart, as you are the nursing students are very much aware of the heart. Heart is an interesting topic. Heart is an interesting organ. So it is having four chambers. Upper two atrias are there, lower two ventricles, and there are some points of the conduction system where they discharge the electric current. So heart is not having an not is heart is not having an uh, electric activity from the other side, from the other sides of the body parts, which is not taking the nervous system is not taking part into the transmission of impulses in the heart. Heart is having their own electrical activity, own conduction system. So that is the SA node. Then second one is AB node. Then left and right bundle branches, that is bundle of His and Purkinje fibers are there. So these many things are there with respect to the conduction system. So here we are going to see these four aspects in detail. So secondly, if you can see the electrical activity of the heart, the heartbeat which is originating, that means the heart is having a specialized tissue, a specialized components, which is a cardiac conduction system, and it is a orderly sequence. So first the atria will contract, followed by the ventricles. So the all four chambers are actively participated and actively charged and discharged during this process of the conduction system. And during this charging and discharging process, the whole of the circulation in the heart occurs. Okay, so the next thing, that is conduction system of the heart, that is action potential. These are also called as the action potential, which is called as the automorhythmic cells, autorhythmic cells. So these are automatic, these are not under our control, these are autorhythmic cells, which is there without the external stimuli, without the external stimulation. Okay, as I've told you, there is no involvement of a nervous impulse transmission over here. The heart is having their own supply, which is autorhythmic. Okay, so whenever the heart pumps, so the heart pump with respect to these four aspect. Actually, it's five aspect. We are also considering the internodal atrial pathways here. So these are five aspects actually. The first one is atrial node. Sinoatrial node is nothing but it is a natural pacemaker. It is a natural pacemaker of the heart. Then the next one is internodal atrial pathways. Then third one, that is atrioventricular node, that is AV node, atrioventricular node. So the sinoatrial node will generate the impulses over here. The electric charge will produced by the natural pacemaker, that is SA node. Then it is further going to the AV node via the internodal atrial pathways. So these many connections, these are the wires are there. So the conduction system wires are there, and these are the names of that wires, which is spread all over the heart, which is spread all over the heart. The first, that is generation point, that is SA node. Then the second one, it is further connected to AV node via the internodal atrial pathways. Okay, and then the bundle of his, it is further transmitted to the bundle of his. So you can consider the sinoatrial node is a first part which is situated in the atriums. Then internodal pathways from the side of the atria, the internodal from the sides, from the lateral sides and from the middle side, the internodal pathways are there, which is further connected to AV node, and AV node is further connected to bundle of his and Purkinje fibers. So whenever there is an impulse transmission over the AV node, bundle of his and Purkinje fiber, this involves the involvement of a ventricle contraction. And AC node and internodal pathways are responsible for the contracting the atrias. So here you can, the name itself suggests these are the atrias and these are the ventricles. Okay. So I will show you the image that will give you a clear cut idea. So how the autorhythmic cells are going down and down all over the heart, causing the contraction over it. Okay. So as we have discussed, here are some details of the SA node and the AV node. It is a part of the wall of right atrium close to the opening of the superior vena cava. So superior vena cava and inferior vena cava, two things you know. Superior vena cava receives the receives the blood from the upper part of the body, and if inferior vena cava receives the blood from the lower side of the body. Okay, na? So it generates impulses. As I've told you, this is a natural pacemaker. It generates impulses at a rate of 72 times per minute. So SA node is called as a natural pacemaker, even though some of the patients are having the conduction system disorder. So whenever there is a failure of AC node, the AV node will come into action. The AV node will come into action. So AV node will do the activity of the AC node here. Okay, because heart never fails easily. Heart has to make some sort of an adjustment. Our body is designed by the Almighty in such a way that our body has to do the work at its maximum extent. So whenever the AC node fails, the body is having an option to carry out the conduction system with the AV node also. So the AV node is situated on the wall of the right atrium close to the AV septum, that is atrioventricular septum, near to the tricuspid wall. It generates impulses at 60 times per minute. Okay. So these are the basics. Then bundle of his, as you can see, these bundle of his are the thick bands. Thick bands are there, which is which is running from the AV node to the intraventricular septum. Means, as I've told you, this AC node, then intranodal pathways, and these are the intranodal atrial pathways which are further connected to the intraventricular septums also. So bundle of his, these are bundles of his. It means we can say the bundle of his. These are divided into two that runs into right and left bundle branches, generate impulses to contract the ventricles at a rate of 40 times per minute. Then last one is the Purkinje fibers. These are the Purkinje fibers. The discharge will occur over here. So these fibers arise from the brancher of the bundle of his, and this fiber pierce into the ventricular myocardium, causing a forceful ventricular myocardium to push the blood to the greater aorta, which will be further, the blood will be going to the upper and lower part of the body. So as you are seeing, these are the major branches as well. Purkinje fiber are spread all over the ventricles in bulk manner, in bulge manner, in huge manner. You can consider, because the ventricles are having the more muscle mass, because the ventricle has to push the blood opposing the gravity towards the aorta. ठीक है ना? So the major muscle mass is there for the ventricles, and the major Purkinje fibers, or the major chunk of bundle of Hill's and Purkinje fibers are there in the ventricle side. Okay. Going for the next, that is excitation normally begins, as I've told you. This is a explanation for that. Normally begins at the AC node, then it is acting as a spontaneous depolarization as a pacemaker potential. So here you can see the image. So this is the SA node. which is further connected. So these are the, so if you can consider, so these will, so as you can, I will show you another image. Okay, so here you can see, so this image you can refer. So if you can see, so this is a SA node, this is a SA node, this is a point of the SA node, and these are the intranodal pathways. So here you can see these are the intranodal pathways which are there to have a complete contraction of the atrias, both of the atrias, both of the atrias. Okay, so it is having power to generate an impulse which can contract both of the atrias. Then it is further connected to the atrioventricular node here, that is atrioventricular node. Then bundle of His, which is going from the mid branch of the atrias and ventricles, connecting the both of the atrias and ventricle. Then it is divided into two, that is bundle of His, right and left bundle branches. Then these are the Purkinje fibers, which are spread at the apex of the heart, which is spreading all over. The Purkinje fiber are going like this. This will go like this. So it will help to contract all of the ventricles, because the ventricle has to push the blood opposing the gravity to the aorta over here. Okay. So I hope you understand. We'll go on the next slide. Here you can see the points as well. AC node, then AV node, then these are the bundle branches. Okay, generation of the bundle branches from here. And these are the left and right bundle of his, right bundle of his, left bundle of his. And then these are the branches of the Purkinje fiber. Here you can see how these are spread all over the ventricle. So this is a complete cycle. One cardiac cycle is of 0.8 seconds. One cardiac cycle is of 0.8 seconds. I will show you the description of that also, how the 0.8 second is divided into seconds, which is the pathways which show the duration of the pathways from AC node to the Purkinje fibers. Okay, so next slide says that by conducting the along the atrial muscle fibers, the action potential reaches to the atrioventricular node located into the intra-arterial septum. So the intra-arterial septum, so this is the intra-arterial septum, if you can see. So this is the intra-arterial septum which divides the two atrias. From the AV node, the action potential enter into the intraventricular bundle of His, and this bundle of His where action potential can conduct atria to the ventricles, which is, these are connections are there. Okay. So this is also a image. SA node is there. This is the generation point. Intranodal pathways. Here you can see. Then next one is a point of EV node. So this is septum. All over the septum which divides the atrias, a septum which divides the ventricles. Okay. Then AV bundle is there. AV node is there, which is a generation point. AV bundle is there, which is further connected to the bundle of this. Bundle branches right and left, Purkinje fibers. Okay. Same description. After the AC nodes, the impulse is transmitted to the internodal atrial pathways. Then it is further going to the AV node, that is generation point of the AV node, atrioventricular node. Then it is going to the intraventricular intraventricular. Then it is going to the bundle of His, and from that it is going to the Purkinje fibers. Okay, so this is the description of the impulse transmission in the bundle branches and in the Purkinje fibers over here. As I've told you that conduction speeds are there. So this entire cycle is of 0.8 seconds. So SA node, which is having a duration of 0.05 second. So this you have to rule out the conduction speeds in every cardiac tissue, because with respect to this, after completing our conduction system, we are jumping directly to the electrocardiogram. So if you want to or if you want to assess, or if you want to means diagnose the normal ECG, you should know the normal ECG waves and complexes duration. What is the duration of P wave? What is the duration of QRS? And what is the duration of T wave? So these are the basic things are there. I will not go into segments and intervals. Only the RR interval we will discuss that, as that is important. I will prepare a separate uh, presentation on the ECG interpretation, normal ECG interpretation. So this is a conduction rate which is 0.8 second actually. So SA node is 0.05. Atrial pathways. Atrial pathways will not take much time because it has to transfer the impulses from the SA node to AV node only. So these are the generation points. Because of that, it is having major time. That is 0.05. Okay. So the time required from AV node to the bundle of his, that is 0.1, Purkinje fiber, that is 0.4, and ventricle muscle, that is 0.1. So this is the thing. Sorry, I want to correct myself over here. So SA node and AV node are having lesser time as compared to the atrial pathways and bundle of his, because atrial pathways are there to contract both of the atrias. That is the reason it will take a time, as well as the bundle of his will also take time. So these are running over the muscle masses over the heart. So that is the reason it will require time to go from one point to the another point. Okay. So as I've told you that SA node is the natural pacemaker of the heart. So whenever the SA nodes fails, AV nodes come into action over here. Okay. Just to sustain the life of the patient. Eventually, if both of the SA node and AV node fails, it is no longer the patient will be alive over here, because heart is a vital organ, as I have said. I hope you understand the conduction system. Next, we will go for the ECG, understanding the ECG. I will give you the rough idea of the ECG. So the ECG, that is electrocardiogram, which is coined by William Einthoven sir in 1903. And William Einthoven has given us a Einthoven's triangle, which shows us a clear cut circuit, a closed circuit. So the electric current which is flowing through the heart, or electric current which is flowing through the body, cannot discharge outside from the body. So we have to complete a circuit within the body by connecting the precordial leads over the chest, and by connecting the augmented limbs over the hands and feet. So this will create a triangle over the patient, and that triangle will help us to get an exact electrocardiogram of the patient, exact cardiac activity of the client or the patient here. Okay? So when there is a triangle is developed, there is no chance of fluctuations are there. So that gives us the exact ECG over here. Okay. So the electrocardiogram is also important. For understanding the electrocardiogram, we need to understand the conduction system disorder. That is the reason I have clubbed these two things together. So the electrocardiogram is a graphical representation of the heart's electrical activity. This is a basic definition we can understand over here. Okay. So as you can see that whenever the AC node is generated, so the atrial depolarization is there, causes the P wave. Then SA node is charged, SA node is generating the impulses, there is a generation of P wave is there. So with the atrial depolarization is completed, the impulse is delayed, means the impulse is transferred to the AV node. Okay. Then after that, if you can see, so atrial depolarization is P wave. Then the impulses are further transmitted to the AV node. So this is an area from P to Q. P to Q. So this is the area which is generation of impulses. So whenever there is a successful transmission of impulses from SA node to AV node, then the ventricular depolarization begins. at apex, causing the QRS complex and the atrial repolarization. So what is atrial repolarization and atrial depolarization? Discharge. So the AC node, try to understand here. AC nodes activate. Okay. So when the AC node is activated, the atria will contract and the blood is sent to the ventricles. Okay. And blood is sent to the ventricles over here. And when the ventricles are depolarized, the blood is sent to the body. Okay, and again, they have to follow the sequence, the cardiac cycle we have to follow in sequence. So the again arterial depolarization will start, the ventricular repolarization, ventricular depolarization will start, and followed by the atrial repolarization, then atrial depolarization. So these many things are going continuously. Continuously, ECG will be PQRST, PQRST will go on and on. Okay, so because heart is beating continuously at a rate of 0.8 second, and this circulatory and conduction system activity is going on and on. Okay, so the ventricular depolarization. So whenever there is a ventricular depolarization causing the QRS complex here, causing the QRS complex here. Okay, so if many of the times, if we see the clinical cases in the ECG, many of the times there is a problem with an S and T, because many of the time there will be a problem with the ventricles pushing the blood to the aorta. So that the major thing. What the body serves the most of the function, that is only affected. The rule of the infection is what is uh, the mostly functions which is carried out by the ventricles, that is only will be get affected. Okay, so here you can see after qrs after qrs, the ventricular depolarization is completed. So here you can see, and then ventricular repolarization, again the ventricular will repolarize and causing the T wave over here. Then after that, the ventricular repolarize is completed, and heart it has resting phase. We cannot say a resting phase, but this is a point in which heart rest, not a second. We can break the seconds into thousands, so that is a picosecond we can consider here. So that at the what heart rest over here. Okay, so this is a thing over here. If I must see, if you can read the ECG over here. So these are the components of the ECG, PQRST. So the P wave is smooth rounded counter. If you can see, it is smooth counter. And the description of the P wave, if you can see, it is a smooth rounded counter. Okay. It is appearing just before the QRS. Okay, and which represents the atrial depolarization. Okay, so in the case of QRS, in the case of QRS, so QRS is nothing but Q is the starting point, which is a negative deflection. R is a pointed structure, which is positive deflection, and S is again a negative deflection is there. Okay, QRS is generating after the P wave before the T, before the T. That will be a description of the QRS, and that is having a ventricular depolarization. That shows the ventricular depolarization. The only thing that will remain in the description, that's the P wave is having a duration of 0.12 to 0. Less than 0.12 to 0.20 seconds, and QRS will have a duration of less than 0.12 seconds. Okay, so this is the time duration will be there. Then again, a T wave is just endpoint of the ECG. We can consider the endpoint of the ECG, which is showing the ventricular repolarization over here. Okay, I hope you have understand. So the next point, if you can see, these are the normal intervals are there, normal durations are there. So this is a complex thing. Okay, I will simplify this. So the P wave is 0.12 to 0.20 seconds. So which is actually means if you can see the ECG paper, I will create a video on the ECG paper also, that goes up to 3 blocks in width and 3 blocks in height. If you are very much aware with the ECG paper, that you will able to know. Again, then QRS, that is less than 0.12, which is although that is 0.10 over here. And the T wave or the QT interval we can consider here, because T, we are never considering the T alone. So that is 0.43 seconds over here. Going for the next, that is properties. Properties of the cardiac muscle that serves the excitability. Always there is an action of the sympathetic and parasympathetic over here. So that is excitability. Conduction means from one point to another point, it is interacting with each other. SA node will interact with the AV node with the bundle of his and Purkinje fibers. So that is a conduction point is there. Contraction, that help into the contraction and causing the flow of the blood and causing the physiology blood on the refractive period. As I've told you, after the T wave, there is a somewhat refractive period is there, that again the atrial depolarization or the atrial repolarization will start after the refractory period is there. Functional syncretism, functional, these are the synchronized thing. This is synchronized. It has to be 0.8 seconds. Means SA node has to transfer the impulses to the AV node, bundle of his and Purkinje fiber. So this is synchronized all over. So there is no such disturbances in that. They have to follow a pattern like this only to have a contractility of the entire heart. Autorhythmicity, it is having an autorhythmicity property. And staircase phenomenon. Even though a staircase phenomenon says whenever the SA node, the impulse is generated at AC node, the electrical discharge will be powered, more and more powered as they are going up. As they are going up. As example, when we are climbing the stairs at very much 4 to 5 stairs, we will not feel we will not require the energy. But after after climbing a floor with these stairs, we need to increase our energy. So that energy will go over the legs and that will help us to uh, climb the staircase easily. So that is a staircase phenomenon. Whenever the SA node is generated, the impulses will be greater in the energy. That is to contract the ventricles over here. So staircase phenomena, as the energy is generated, the energy will go on increasing. That is nothing but the staircase phenomenon over here. Okay. So this is the description for your reference. So the regulation of the heart rate. As you have know, the regulation of heart notes, the own electrical activity is there, which begins as SA node, as we have seen. This is a summary point. So the medulla oblongata, which is having the cardiovascular center, which regulates the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system over here. So that is responsible for the increasing and decreasing of the frequency of the nerve impulses into the heart. So the sympathetic is always a fight and flight response, and the parasympathetic is rest and digest, which is components of the autonomic nervous system. And this conduction system is also comes under the autonomic nervous system only. Okay. So going for the next slide, here you can see anatomical thing is there. So that is medulla oblongata, which is the wires which are coming from the cardiovascular center, that is medulla oblongata, which is further connected to the nodes, sympathetic and parasympathetic nodes, which is having the actions over here. The next slide will be the factors which are contributing to the regulation of heart. After, as you know, as we have got to know that medulla oblongata is a cardiovascular center, so that helps to regulate the chemical actions also, hormones and the cations also. So these are the cardiac activity which is depressed by the hypoxia, acidosis. Acidosis can be anything. Major acidosis will be a respiratory acidosis will create a effect which will affect the heart rate over here. And hormones, these are the catecholamines or the thyroid hormones, which increase the heart rate and the contractility. So many of the times the catecholamines is having an ill effect over the heart rate here. Then contains alteration in the balance of the potassium, sodium, and calcium. So these many things. These many which alters the contractility of the heart over here. So the potassium is an chemical, potent cation which is needed for the heart. Potassium is necessary. Sodium is also necessary. So that is to induce the contraction and relaxation. And calcium is also necessary for the impulse transmissions all over the body, although in the conduction system of the heart also. Okay. So the next slide is regulation of the stroke volume. As you know, that stroke volume is nothing but which is having a three factor. So stroke volume is determined by the sympathetic stimuli, making the myocardial muscle fibers contract with a greater strength, so which can push the blood through the aorta at its maximum extent. You can. So the sympathetic is having a fight response, always it is an active response, and the parasympathetic is a non-active response, means a relaxing response. So the factors which regulate the stroke volume, that is preload. The preload is nothing but the degree through which the heart muscles stretch before it contracts, that will receive the blood. If more of the heart muscles are stretched, the more of the blood will come into the heart. So the more of the blood, whenever the more of the blood is coming into the heart should also have the contractility power, that forcefulness of contraction in contraction of the individual ventricular muscle fibers. And afterload is nothing but the resistance to the ejection of blood from the ventricle. So the preload, which is receiving the blood, and afterload, which is pushing the blood out from the body. So this is all about the conduction system of the heart. If any point is remaining in the PPT or any point you have not understand during the explanation, you can ask in the comment section below. Thank you for visiting the Nursing Guru channel. I hope you understand this topic, entire topic, and I will help. I hope that it will help you in studies. If anything is there, please uh, message me in comment section. If you like my explanation, well, message me for the another content. As per your comments, I will prepare the videos similarly. Yes. Thank you for patient listening. See you in next video. Thank you.